Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Creative Tavern. My name is Christopher Lee. I'm a concept artist. I've been in the industry for about 10 years with companies such as Walt Disney Imaginary as well as Universal Creative. I'm here today with my buddy Michael Welker. Say hello, Michael.
Hello, everybody. My name is Michael O. Welker. I'm a creative technologist, also a writer. And I've worked as a producer in the theme park industry, which is where I got to meet Chris. Um, Recently, though, Chris and I found ourselves in between big theme park projects and decided to put our heads together and do some creative projects of our own. And as a way to sort of create a platform for us to do those projects and to give other creative minded people a window into our process, we started the Creative Tavern. And to tell you more about that, I'm going to hand it back to Chris.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. And yes, the Creative Tavern was created for people like you, people like me, and people like Michael, where we could all congregate together and share our experiences, our works of art, or it doesn't have to be art. I mean, just any sense of creation, like creativity, right? If you write, if you design clothes, if you're into woodworking or whatever it is, we want to see it. We want to be edified by your knowledge and wisdom. And just like all the people here at Captain Blue Blue Lightos and Totoro has been part of our community, who has taught me so much about video games and every little thing. And I'm just so proud to be part of this platform. And yes, if you want to join our community, we have a Discord where every Sunday we take a look at your amazing work. And by the way, guys, if you in the chat, if you guys want to put any artwork in the Discord, please do because today is Sunday. We're going to go ahead and take a look. And just a special shout out to Lidos. He's currently drawing, learning how to draw, and he's like making leaps and leaps and bounds, right? That's the phrase. With drawing. I mean, the first time he showed me his work, I was like, oh yeah, just add a little bit of shadow here and there, and then 2 weeks later, he's like doing like all this like shading and shadow and like some lewd stuff, and I'm like, I'm so proud of him. It's so good. I love it. I love it. Post more. So, Lightos, and Captain Blue Blue and Toto, if you guys want to go ahead and put your work in the Discord, feel free to do that, and we will take a look at it later on tonight, right? And so yes, this again, the Creative Tavern, it's yours, it's mine, it's Michael's, it's everyone's. Come in and share your work, and we will be more than happy to take a look at it. And sometimes, when we're on this design journey, it's a little bit hard. We hit a design wall, and sometimes we need another pair of eyes to take a look at it. And so that's why where Michael comes in and be like, "Oh, Chris, why don't you do X, Y, Z?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't even think of it that way." And then so getting feedback is always a good thing. And we're just trying to say we're here for you if you guys ever need any feedback at all. So yeah, Michael, and usually I would say, oh, today's Sunday. We're since we're designing a video game which we already finished. I would say it's my turn to share. But tonight, this whole month, I would assume that we're just going to relax a little bit, chillax, have a chat about video games, movies, whatever comes to mind. Last week we had an amazing discussion, hanging out with our friend Totoro, aka Richard. That we just kind of caught up with one another and gave each other encouragement in whatever we were doing last week. And I see Totoro there, so well, thank you so much for being here, Totoro. Yeah, Michael, handing it back to you. Do you want anything else you want to add?
Um, so I guess we could talk about what the agenda is for today.
Sure.
Um, yeah, okay. So as part of our break, one of the things that we're doing that we thought would be a little bit of fun is Chris and I are doing a tier list of all the MCU Marvel movies. Just the movies, not the TV shows, and we're doing it in chronological order from the original Iron Man all the way up to present day. Um, and we're kind of ranking them, and we also have some other fun stuff with like Rotten Tomatoes in there as well. So we're going to be doing that. That's probably going to be the bulk of the show. Um, Also, a little bit of housekeeping. Chris and I have been talking a little bit about the future of the Creative Tavern and some ideas that we have about where we might want it to go. But we really want to include you guys in on that process and get your opinion and your feedback about what you're interested in, what we've done that you've liked, what we haven't done that you would like to see. So
Hmm.
we created a survey. that you can use to give us your feedback. And actually, I think I've got a link. I can go ahead and post that for y'all.
Sweet.
Give me a second here.
Yeah, take your time. Just gonna go ahead and read the chat. Age of Empires. Oh, hold on. What happened to LARPing? Is that still big? LARPing is where you dress up as a character from a IP. Is that correct? If I remember correctly, LARPing.
Uh, he's got
Oh, there you
Jojo's
go.
got it a little bit
Live
here.
live action role playing people fighting in person with foam swords and keeping track of spells and damage. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And he also said thank you so much for the community spirit and leadership. Nah, thank you so much. Thank you for being part of the community. But yeah, I'm not a huge person that LARPs, I guess. Is that almost kind of like cosplay but in action?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's cost. It's like Dungeons and Dragons plus cosplay. So you're like actually acting, instead of like sitting around a table and saying
yeah.
like, oh, my dwarf jumps on his back and wrestles him to the ground. You would actually be out in a park somewhere dressed as the dwarf
Oh, that's
tackling somebody who was
cool.
dressed as a goblin. Yeah,
Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, that's
that's
very
my
cool.
understanding of LARPing.
Yeah. Captain Blue says, I know some groups that does LARP at the university here. Oh, that's nice. Hmm. It does
There
get
you go.
fun like that. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. And Michael, I see you went ahead and put the link in the chat.
Yep, I sure did.
Sweet.
So, and we'll put that link in the Discord too, and we're going to be sharing that link repeatedly on, streams for probably at least the rest of the month. It's pretty short. It should only take you a couple minutes to do. Obviously completely optional, but we would love to get your feedback in there. And the way it's structured is just basically a couple of different topics that are like, hey, would you like to see us make another video game? Are you interested in that? Yes, no, don't really care either way. What about like a book club or
Hmm.
various things like that? Or if you want like more ways to interact with Chris and I, maybe outside of streams, like an email newsletter or a podcast, or I don't know. And then at the very bottom of that survey, if we've missed anything that you either would like to see more of, or even things that you would like to see less of. If we're doing something and you're like, that is just not interesting to me, don't want to hear about that, don't want to see that, please let us know, because we definitely want to consider the community and what's most valuable and interesting to you guys. Um, no guarantees or promises that anything that's on there is something that we're actively planning to do. This is just completely to gauge interest and to kind of see where the community is relative to where Chris and I
Right.
are, because obviously we've got some ideas as well. But yeah, we just want to give an opportunity for you guys to help mold the future of what the Creative Tavern is. So if you have some time, we would be very grateful if you could take a look at that survey and give us your feedback. And it's totally
Yeah.
anonymous. You don't need to put in your email or anything like that. Um, so yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. And you put that together like this week, and I took a look at it, and it looks really good. And yeah, like Michael said, your guys' feedback is really important to us because, I mean, Michael and I started this thing. Well, so we started this channel just to bring visibility to what we are doing, but now it's like we kind of established this channel, and we kind of want to know what you guys would like to see. We want to know if you guys watching us design a video game, is that fun, or do you guys want to see something different? Michael mentioned like a book club or something, because this is the Creative Tavern. It doesn't have to be just video games. It could be anything that's creative. So please let us know. And if there's anything that Michael and I can do to facilitate that, we would we'll talk about it, and we'll see how we can bring that to into reality. Um, yeah. So again, thank you, Michael, for making that survey. So yeah. And
Pleasure.
again, the forms is in the chat right now. I went ahead. And Michael, what I will do is I will go to Stream Elements and add that. And anytime. you want to put up the survey, you could just type exclamation part survey. I'll make sure we do that. So yeah, make it a
Awesome.
lot
Thanks, dude.
easier. Yeah, no problem. I just gotta remember that. I just gotta do that. Okay, cool. So this week we're going to continue with our rating of the MCU. Michael, do you have anything to add? Are you good, or do you want to say something else?
Nope, I'm good. But before we begin, I do want to take a quick bathroom break.
Sure, sure,
So I'll
sure,
be right
sure.
back.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. And while Michael is taking his break, I will, do the whole professional transition dealio. I'm gonna go to screens, go to scene 4, and just to let you guys know, and see. Whoop, hold on, what's going on here? So, this is very, very unofficial. I believe some of you guys have seen this already. This is essentially kind of, you know, Michael and my list for all the MCU movies. We also created a tier for critics and audience because we kind of want to gauge where our selections, how it compares to, the what the critics and audience say. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. We're right. We're right. They're wrong. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, since it's just me, I'll just go through my list. So this is the S tier, and then it goes A, B, C, D, and so forth, right? All right. So give a really, really quick review. The S superior, the best, the most awesome tier movie for me. And Michael, welcome back. I'm just giving a quick review of what my movie is. What I can say, well, me and Michael, we both put Iron Man in the S tier because we think that movie kind of more or less started the whole franchise. It is an amazing movie. It blew my socks off, and it was like when I first watched it, I was like, holy cow, I've never seen anything like this before. And to be honest, I don't think I'll ever see anything like it again because it's just I say that because Iron Man's suit is not as, Iron Man 1 suit anymore. Now it's all nanotech, and I don't like the whole nanotech. I like the whole, he has to get on this platform and he needs a huge contraption arm to put on his, just his arm plating, what is armor and everything, right? That's more real. That's a lot cooler than and then all of a sudden that's it's not as cool. So that's what I mean by I don't think we're gonna get another Iron Man. It's not as, you know, real, right? And then so this is my A tier. In the A tier, I have Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Iron Man 2, and then Civil War. For Michael, he has Captain America Winter Soldier for A.
Wait, we didn't do Civil War yet. I think that might have been a leftover because we're
Oh, oh,
starting with
oh,
Civil War.
whoops. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Not yet, not yet. Sorry. Okay, so there. This is 8, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, and Iron Man 2, which I think it's really good. I don't know why people are poo-pooing on it. Iron Man is the bomb. Yeah, it's good. And Michael has the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, right? Captain Blue says, "I'm ready to rank the movies based on the poster again." Yeah,
Okay.
nice. Oops. And then this is the B tier. I put Captain America, Winter Soldier and the first Avenger, and then Ant-Man, and then for Michael, he put Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man 2. The B tier, what this is B tier or C tier? C
I think
tier.
that's
This
C.
is
Yeah.
yeah, this is C. For C tier, I put Age of Ultron and Thor. Okay, they're not the best movies, nor do they suck. They're on average fairly okay. And if you look at Michael's, he also has Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Avengers, the first Avengers, Thor, and then Captain America, the first Avenger. And then this is D. I put the Thor Dark World in D, and Michael doesn't have anything in there. And then here I put an F, which is like the lowest ranking. I put Iron Man as number 3 because it's what a crappy movie it is, story wise and everything. Michael also has it in F, but he puts yeah. So this is his lowest one so far right now, and Thor: The Dark World is also in F. Michael, do you want to add anything?
Um. No, I don't. Nope. I think that was a pretty good summary. Like
All right,
you nailed it.
all right, all right. And we have a whole bunch of movies coming up. So and like how Michael mentioned, I accidentally put Civil War in here. So All right. Give me a little bit of breather. Michael, can you go ahead and go first? What say you about Civil War?
Sure. All right. So I have really great things to say about Civil War. I love this movie.
Mm.
And probably not surprising because this is from the same guys, the Russo brothers, or the
Hmm.
I think that's the Russo. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Russo brothers, yeah.
Um, mhm. The first Marvel movie that they did, I believe, was Winter Soldier. Then they did Civil War, and then they also did the Infinity War and Endgame movies. Um, and I loved what they did with Winter Soldier. I thought it was this, and I mentioned this before, it's really cool, like kind of spy thriller type movie. And Civil War is a lot more of that too, but it's also the first. Well, I guess it's not really the first. Avengers was really the first big ensemble one that they did, but this one was like the first really big ensemble, whereas Avengers was like, maybe a half dozen characters coming together. This one was like a full dozen.
Yeah.
Just a huge roster of characters to the point where like you would think that the movie would just completely fall apart because it's just too many characters.
Oh, yeah.
And and I think at certain parts that is true. There's like a couple of things about it that I'm, not super crazy about. Um, but on the whole, I really love this movie. And I've got some notes. I actually went back and rewatched it recently just to
Oh,
make sure, like, did
oh,
I love
nice.
this movie as much as I thought I did? And while I was watching it, I wrote some things down. So one of the things so I'll start with the actually, this is going to be a mix of good and bad. One of the things that I really like about this movie, and I'd kind of teased this in an earlier stream where I was talking about one of the things that's really frustrating to me is these movies that when they don't explore like the consequences. And I thought this movie was so cool because
Mm.
of the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah.
And there's this like opening scene where William Hurt's character, Thaddeus something, he's like the Secretary of Defense or whatever, which by the way, William Hurt is an amazing actor. I love that guy, but apparently he passed away earlier this year, so he's gone.
Oh, did
I guess,
he?
yeah,
Oh. Oh,
yep,
yeah, yeah.
early in
Apparently
March,
Harrison
right?
Ford is going to take his place.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy smokes!
If I remember correctly, I watched one or I saw a YouTube thumbnail saying that he is going to be a Thunderbolt Ross. Is that who that is?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, right?
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
So
what
that's
Thunderbolt means. Like,
I don't
is he gonna
I
turn into a
I I,
superhero or something?
I I want to say the Red Hulk or something. I don't know. I'm not
What?
familiar with it. I'm not familiar with it. But it's
Okay, yeah, me either.
he turns into some type of superhero. So if you guys in the chat know, please educate me. But yeah, apparently Harrison Ford is taking over his
That's
role.
surprising.
Yeah.
Like, I
Don't believe me. I might be just totally talking out of my ass, but distinctly remember watching a YouTube clip and saying that from a good source, from a good, not just like anything, not like both the bullshit clickbaity site, but a reviewer put his Harrison Ford's photo in the whole MCU thing. So
Wow.
take a look at that. You guys do your own research. So yeah, Harrison Ford might be entering to the MCU. Who knows? Who knows?
That's crazy.
Sorry, Michael. Please continue.
No, no, no. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, yeah, that William Hurt character I think is just so cool. Like he's an amazing actor, and then that character bringing down the hammer and saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna show you some video footage. All right, like here's New York when they're fighting the interstellar alien horde that Loki unleashed on New York, and then it clicks the camera. Here's Sokovia, and it's like giant island in the sky falling down
Yeah.
and killing millions of people, and there's also a scene earlier where like it's either I think it was an earlier scene where Tony's giving a presentation at MIT, and after the presentation goes and everybody loves it, he's like waiting for an elevator, and there's a woman there, and this woman actually is the mother of a young college-aged boy who took a gap year, and instead of like traveling the world and doing something like really cool and fun, he volunteered to like help people, underprivileged people in Sokovia of all places,
Mhm.
and he
Mhm.
happened to get killed during the events, and so she's really pissed off, and then that like puts this like huge burden on Tony
Yeah.
about the consequences of their actions, and I thought that was just such an amazing premise to explore because you like that's one of the most frustrating things to me about a lot of the superhero movies is you just see this like wanton destruction and chaos and like entire skyscrapers are falling over and it's like wow, there was probably several thousand people in that building who are just dead now, and the
Mhm.
movie just
Mhm.
completely brushes it off. It's just not a big thing, and here is like this really fascinating, interesting look at what would the real world like how would the real world react to having these enhanced beings uh, operating basically without oversight throughout the world, who are obviously trying to do good, but also, you know, some of them have loyalty and ties to certain countries, like Captain America.
Mhm.
Um, I thought, man, this is really interesting. And there's a lot of like really cool metaphors for the real world and different countries offering different sort of like or having different influence and military power operating throughout the world. And I'm just a total nerd for that sort of like geopolitical intrigue stuff. So this was like
Oh,
right up my alley. I thought it was like super cool.
nice.
Um, so I love all that stuff, and I really love the the way they use that to anchor the conflict between Captain America and Tony Stark, Iron Man, where Iron Man is trying his best to keep everybody safe and to operate within the confines of the rules. So he's like, "Yep, we need to sign these Sokovia Accords and start operating with the supervision of this governing body." And Captain America, especially when if you have recently seen Winter Soldier, you know how that story ends, where like handing over too much authority to the governing body, you start giving up your freedom. So it's
Mhm.
this battle between like freedom versus safety, and
Right.
it's a like even to this day, it's really hard to pick like Team Cap or Team Iron Man. 'Cause
Right.
I don't know, like both those
Yeah.
things are that's tough. Like that's a really tough decision. Like that's a really interesting conflict, and so I think they did a really good job with that. Um, the airport battle, like the big, fun and
Mm.
games centerpiece of
Mhm.
the whole movie,
Mhm.
right in the middle. There's this big airport battle, which is awesome. Like it's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's on so many levels. Like the action is really interesting, the location, the way this is sort of the like apex of the conflict that has been sort of like slowly brewing and getting more and more intense. This is where like things just completely boil over. So that's really awesome. The interactions between the different heroes, the different characters, is just charming and hilarious and funny, and there's so much chemistry between all of the different uh, actors
Mhm. Mhm.
as their characters, so it's a ton of fun. Spider-Man is in this movie, like that's super
Yeah.
cool, and Tom
Yeah.
Holland is amazing, right, as
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so that's all super fun. Though I will say that I do. Oh, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man in this movie he's awesome. Like
Yeah.
just he's so funny, and his abilities and powers are so cool. Um, yeah, it's just great. There's one scene where he goes really small and he goes inside Iron Man's suit and he's like, pulling out the wires and shit.
Yeah.
Um, and Tony's like, what is that? And then he can hear Iron Man or Ant-Man talking, and Ant-Man says something like, "Oh hey, yeah, this is your conscience.
Yeah.
We don't talk much." Or something like that. I was like, "Oh man, that's really funny."
Yes. It's awesome.
So that was really, yeah, that was really good. However, I do have like one really big complaint about the airport scene, and it it's related to the sort of like the problem I have with movies and really just IP in general, where they kind of seem to feel like we need to go bigger, guys. We need to go bigger and bigger, or go big or go home. And however big that is, go even bigger. Crank it up to 11. And that's Vision. Vision is a really cool character. The actor Paul Bettany is
Paul Bettany.
amazing. Everything that guy's in, he's just so incredible. And I love the character. He's just too damn powerful. He's so strong. He's got the Superman problem, right? Where like Superman can do anything. He's literally impervious to bullets. He can shoot lasers out of his eyes. He can fly around. He can fly. He can fly in space.
Fly through stuff.
Blow like when you're that powerful, like it becomes kind of hard to relate to that character. I think that's one of the reasons why Marvel movies or the Marvel superheroes are so much more, at least recently, have been so much more successful than the DC movies or the DC characters, because most Marvel superheroes are human beings who then become superpowered.
Right.
Most DC superheroes are gods who then come down to live with the mortals, right?
Yeah.
It's so much easier to relate to somebody like Tony Stark, who's just a dude. I mean, really smart, super rich dude, but he's a human being. You know, he's like which is one of the reasons why I think Batman is DC's most successful heroes, because he's just a dude. He's not some god from some foreign planet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm off on a tirade there. The point is, in the airport scene, Vision is there, and you can tell that they don't really know what to do with him, because there are entire sections of that scene where he's just not there. You know that he's there because they've established, like, oh, Vision comes in and he like shoots this laser beam line on the ground. It's like, don't cross that line, otherwise we're going to war. And then of course they cross that line and everybody starts fighting. But then he's just like off camera for like 10 minutes. And everybody else is fighting. And there are all these moments where you're like, where's Vision? Like, why isn't he stopping that or intervening here? Or because he obviously could. But I think part of the reason for that is because he's just too strong. He's just too powerful. Like, the only other person in that fight who could do anything is Wanda, the Scarlet Witch. She's not the Scarlet Witch at this point. She's still Wanda.
Yeah.
But they don't. I don't really know why. I can understand if Wanda wasn't there, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, nobody's strong enough to fight Vision. You could have everybody else team up against Vision, and he would still probably kick their ass. So I don't know. That was kind of a complaint for me. I kind of noticed that. It was like, oh, you guys put yourself into a corner, or you didn't quite handle this. You didn't stick the landing there. But other than that, I thought the airport battle is just awesome. And the way it ends, I think was really cool, which is basically Captain America's team escapes, and Tony, so Iron Man and War Machine Rhodes are chasing them, and so they're like flying in their Iron Man suits after the jet, and Tony orders Vision to shoot at, I think, Falcon, or I think it's Falcon, because Falcon's like out flying around and interfering with them.
Oh yeah.
Vision misses, or actually he would have hit Falcon, but Falcon kind of dives out of the way, and the beam hits Rhodes and completely disables Rhodes' suit. The suit starts falling out of the sky. I mean, he's falling like a mile or something.
Yeah.
Crashes into the ground. He's basically like in a coma, ends up being like somewhat paralyzed.
Yeah.
And when that happens, and Tony flies down to like try to rescue him, but doesn't get there in time. And then he's like holding his body. Well, I mean, he's still alive, but he's kind of cradling Rhodes, and you could just see like the fury in Tony's face. That really helped sell the conflict between these two guys, where it's like, man, Tony's really pissed now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that airport scene, freaking awesome. Loved it. However, I will say, by the time you get to the end of the movie, where we have the big reveal, where we realize, aha, the villain who's been working behind the scenes and kind of like puppeteering all of these things to all these events and all these people, and smoke and mirrors and misleading. Yeah, exactly, Zemo. And you see finally like what he's been doing. He's this whole time he's been trying to get Iron Man and Winter Soldier and Captain America into this room where he can show Iron Man the truth about his parents' death. And I, it was that's a good reveal. That's a good twist. But I just couldn't believe that that would send Tony into this frenzied like bloodlust rage where he's just like, okay, all logic out the window. I'm just gonna fight and kill these guys now. Um, I just didn't believe that. Like, I totally understand. Like, that's his parents. That's his mom and his dad, and he loved them dearly. And the movie even had like set up earlier the last time that he saw them.
Mhm.
But that just didn't quite work for me the way that like the incident with Rhodes would have worked for me. I can completely understand that in that moment, in the heat of the moment where this has happened as a result of this conflict, he could potentially become unhinged. But this thing with his parents, where he's had years to grieve and deal with it, and the fact that it's obvious that it is the result of Bucky, Winter Soldier, being programmed. Like he can't control it. Like that's been established already at this point.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
so it's just not. I don't know. I just didn't quite buy that. It's fine. It's not like a huge complaint, but it's a little thing that I'm like, that's kind of weak. Like I don't believe that Tony would do that, especially considering all the other movies that we've had with him leading up to this point, where he has been growing and changing from this person who's very emotionally reactive uh, to a more mature, man. Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I don't know, didn't quite buy it. So I thought the finish was a little bit weak. But I really love the sort of the theme and the moral and the lesson, and I love that they use Black Panther, T'Challa, to sort of carry that message, because throughout this whole movie, at the very beginning, there's this bomb, there's this explosion that happens, and T'Challa's dad gets killed in
Yeah.
the explosion, and he believes that it's Bucky that did it. He thinks like, the Winter Soldier, he's the terrorist who killed my dad. I have the resources. I'm going to operate completely outside of all these different authorities, and I'm going to go kill this guy. And so the whole movie, he's been chasing everybody to try to like get to Bucky and kill him, and then he finally chases all of them down to where Zemo has brought them together to like have his final plan um, come to fruition, and Black Panther then realizes, oh, your entire life you've spent in this state of like rage and vengeance, seeking vengeance,
Uh-huh.
and look at all of the destruction and chaos and pain that has resulted uh, uh, from that. And so I'm not going to do that. Like, he learns the lesson and decides not only not to kill Bucky, but also not to kill Zemo. He prevents Zemo from killing himself,
Mhm. Mhm.
so that way he can answer to his crimes.
Right.
And I thought that was just so cool. Like, that, man, not to give anything away for future sessions, but man, Black Panther's a really cool character, and I really
Yeah.
liked him in
Yeah.
this. So, with all of that said, Captain America: Civil War. It's hmm, I had an idea for which tier it should go in coming into this, but I feel like I've talked it up so much and I'm so excited about it. The very top of A tier. I think I like it better than Winter Soldier. Not as much as Iron Man, but it's awesome. It's really, really good. I
Mhm.
loved it.
Mhm. 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 Awesome
Sorry, I went on for a
explanation.
long time.
No, no, no. That's awesome, man. Thank you for that in-depth analysis, dude. That's freaking awesome. Go ahead.
One more thing
Yeah.
that I loved. The Stan Lee cameo in this one is
Oh,
really, really good. Do you remember?
Tony. Yeah, I have a package for Tony Stank.
Yeah. Yeah, Stan Lee's like a FedEx guy, and
Yeah, yeah.
he's trying to deliver a package, and he's like looking at the, with his glasses, like, trying to read the name, misreads it, and Rhodes just like eats it up. He's like, "Oh, yep, this is Tony Stank right here."
Tony Stank. Yep, yep. That's awesome.
That
Captain
was
Blue
really good.
says, the Incredibles tackle that question too. Are heroes responsible for their powers? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great connection there too. Because yeah, after the whole incident on the railroad or the monorail system with the Mr. Incredible, I mean, he saved like a whole bunch of people with the railway. Like he stopped it from crashing down. But he ended up getting sued, right? And then there's like a whole bunch of lawsuits and everything, and so they're all superheroes now needs to go into hiding because they're liable for all the damages and everything. And it's kind of funny because I know we're not supposed to talk about TV series, but apparently She-Hulk, the TV series, does that. I mean, she represents all the. I haven't seen it at all, but I know that she's a lawyer. She represents superheroes and defends them in court. So now I think we're going to see how superheroes are being held into accountable for the actions, very much like the Soviet Accords, very much like the Incredibles and everything. So yeah, very very good connection, Captain Lulu. And Captain Lulu also says Ant-Man is the scariest superhero. Uh, yeah, I'm curious why you think that. Captain Blue says it says something when super rich is the most relatable human trait. I think he's talking about Batman. What's your superpower? I'm very rich.
Yeah.
Totoro says that is really good point. Gods are not the proper antagonist for many of our favorite myths and fairy tales. Yeah. Captain Blue says B tier, although it looks like an election time debate commercial. Yeah, Captain Blue is not ranking the movie itself. Captain Blue is ranking the movie by the poster.
Ranking the
So,
poster.
so he's saying it looks like an election time debate commercial. That's pretty funny. I like the design of the poster actually. It's essentially, I mean, nowadays it's all character driven posters. I mean, if you take out, it's all characters. All you see is characters. You don't really see anything else other than characters now with these posters. Um, yeah. So very cool. So okay, my analysis of Civil War, Michael, I absolutely agree with you 100% about how amazing this movie is. One, it introduced Spider-Man, which I think is really cool. My favorite Spider-Man of all time, Tom Holland. I think he is like, in my opinion, so much better than Tobey Maguire and what's his other name? What's the other guy?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield. Thank you so much. Yeah, Tom does such a good job. His personality, his looks, it's just totally fits as a Spider-Man. And I love the interaction of Spider-Man and Iron Man. I know some people hate it. I know some people do not like the fact people are saying,
Really?
uh, yeah, yeah. A lot of people don't like Iron Man being a part of the Spider-Man franchise. They feel like
What?
Spider-Man is like an Iron Man 2.0 or something, like a mini Iron Man, because his suit is not, like just the
Mm,
Spidey suit, right? His suit is all nanotech, all dark teched up, but I'm sure they corrected all that after the whole, no, I haven't seen it yet, but I know for a fact that they reset a lot of everything in the movie No Way Home, right? And then he
mm.
doesn't have all the backings of the Stark Tech industry, so he has to go. Anyways, that's not me talking about where I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself. So yes, the introduction of Spider-Man in there was awesome. Or not invitation, uh, the introduction of Black Panther was freaking awesome. Now I'm getting a little bit confused. Did we see Black Panther in the Winter Soldier at all?
I I don't.
No, right?
I'm pretty sure no, unless there's like a post-credit scene or mid-credit scene that I'm
Yeah,
not remembering.
I don't
I think this
remember.
is. I
This
think
is the
this
first
is his
time.
first appearance.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
the
yeah, because actually at the post-credit scene of for Winter Soldier where they're like they've actually no, it might be the post-credit scene of Civil War. Ah, shit, I don't know. There's one where
yeah,
they're like they send Bucky to be like
in
held in
in
cryostasis
Wakanda.
somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. The camera pans and it's like, oh, it's
yeah.
Wakanda.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was really cool. Yeah, the introduction of Spider-Man and the Black Panther, that was really cool. And just to address your thing, man, because when you're about to say, yeah, Marvel like has this issue of them doing way big of thing. I was like, you better not talk about my boy Ant-Man. You know that scene where he like turns into like
Yeah.
gigantic. My mind was blown. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like I watched this at the
It
movie
was
theater,
awesome.
and everyone was like, oh shit, it was awesome. That part was amazing, and just the
Yeah, it
whole
was.
banter and references, like Spider-Man was like. Oh yeah, hey, have you guys seen that movie where there's like this big walker and then how you have to like spin around and and then Tony and what is it? War Machine was like, "Where? How old is this kid?" And then Tony is like, "Oh, I didn't carbon date him. He's on the younger side." And then so he's just like, it's just the whole interaction. And even though Spider-Man and Captain America they were fighting each other at the same time, they were having a good conversation. It's like, "You got heart, kid. Where are you from? Queens. I'm from Brooklyn." And then so it's just like, it's those type of interaction that makes me love Marvel movies, and especially
Oh
this
yeah.
one too. And yeah, like the actions of the last scene where man Bucky and Captain America just starts wailing on Iron Man. Oh God, I felt so painful. I was like, oh man, my man Iron Man is like getting his ass kicked by like two superheroes, like super soldiers, right? I'm just like, oh geez, and he's all by himself, and yeah, it was heartbreaking because they're two amazing heroes. And what I love about this movie in particular is that this movie does not suffer the shitty ass villain syndrome. I mean, kind of it does. It's the shitty villain is controlling their he's like fucking over the heroes, making them pit against each other. I thought that was cool. I've never seen any movie that really does a successful job as the Civil War. How you care about both sides, but you don't really know who to vote who to root for. I was actually on Team Iron Man. I was just like, Iron Man's my boy. I don't care about I don't care about Captain America, which is another point to me that you would think that, you know, Iron Man would be like, "Well, screw you. I'm not gonna play by any rules. I'm Iron Man. I'm Tony Stark. I play by my own rules. And you would think a goody two shoe Captain America would want to follow the government's rules, but they're on total opposite of the spectrum. And you brought it very, very true that in the previous movies, Captain America says, if you give out too much control, you give up more or less of your freedom, right? It's like, well, when can we actually go into battle? Do we have to be approved then we could go and save them? That's not really efficient, right? But on, from the other view is like, well, we're being held to account with all this destruction of the Soviet. Uh, is that place called Sovia?
Sokovia.
Sokovia, right?
Sokovia. Yeah, I think it's like
Sokovia.
this.
Yeah. And the destruction of Sokovia, it's really awful. And yeah, and so this amazing. I didn't know how to feel about it because there's two of like my favorite teams like going at each other, but at the same time, it's so cool. You get to see them going at each other. You don't see that ever. Superheroes don't fight superheroes except when you see Bucky fighting Captain America, Bucky fighting Black Panther. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. One little connection that I really love is when Clint was fighting Black Panther, and then Clint was like, "Oh, we never met. I'm Clint." And then Black Panther is like, "I don't care," And then
Yeah.
later on I'm gonna jump really far in the head in the end games, um, they see each other again, and then Captain America's or not Captain America, Black Panther was like, "Clint, give the gauntlet to me." I'm just like, "Oh, cool. They're talking to one another,"
Oh,
and he
callback.
actually, yeah, he remembers Clint, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, man, I love this movie. There was a lot of stakes, like you said, Sokovia fell, and then it killed a whole bunch of people, and Rhodey breaking his back, or he didn't die, but he broke his back, and yeah, my beef with this movie is like, why did Scarlet or not Scarlet? Why did the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, why did she do all that fighting and then ends up on Captain America's side? It's like all of a sudden she had a change of heart. It's just like, what? Why did you? Why? That's I know that they're doing it for dramatic effect, but it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like if you're gonna stop him, just stop him. Don't do dumb change of heart. That's I don't like that. I don't like that. But yeah, this was an awesome movie. I love this movie a lot. Oops. And where I will put it, I'm gonna put it above Iron Man.
Whoa.
Yeah, because it has everything, dude. It has like, heroes fighting against heroes, the introduction of other heroes, and like you said, dude, this could have went like sideways so quickly, dude. I mean, so many characters. How do you balance that shit? Before it was like you said, half a dozen people on in the Avengers movie, but this movie is more or less like Avengers 2.5. It's not Avengers 3. It's Captain America's movie, right? Captain America Civil War, but
Yeah,
it
technically, but it
yeah,
feels like an
right?
Avengers movie.
Oh yeah, it's totally like to me it's totally an Avengers movie because you get like everyone in there, which is awesome. And I love it. I love it. Yeah, the whole last scene where Captain America holds his shield and Iron Man is like blasting full blast, and then they see the side by side, and there's like I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. That is so sorry, I'm geeking out a bit. That's how much I love Civil War. Civil War is an amazing movie. I think I would definitely watch Civil War first and then watch Iron Man. Um, it's like if I had nothing to do on a Friday night, it's like which one would I pop in? Civil War. I would pop in Civil War. Even though I love Captain America, Civil War has so much goodies in there, and I love it, and so many amazing moments. Anyways, yeah. So that's mine.
Good choice.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So, Michael.
um,
Oh,
real quick,
yeah.
you didn't copy the Civil War, so
Oh
I
shit.
need one for A
Oh
tier
shit,
in
sorry,
front of
sorry, sorry,
Winter
sorry,
Soldier.
sorry. Yeah, sorry.
That's
No
okay.
wonder. I was like, why is that? Why is there a space there? But
Um, and also, while you're doing that, Captain Bluebly says, well, he rated it B tier based off of the
yeah.
Oh yeah, you already read that one. But he says, I remember Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, where all his powers were biological based, and later I heard that people got mad since in the comics the webbing are made by machines or something mounted on his wrist. That is true.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I don't remember people getting mad about it, but I do remember that was kind of like a weird thing. But yeah, and I also remember that gave me like nightmares as a kid because I had these dreams where I was Spider-Man and I was like, shooting webs out of my hands, and it was
Oh,
the
that is
Tobey
so
Maguire
cool.
version.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
where they were
cool.
like coming out of my actual wrist. But
Yeah.
here's where it turned into a nightmare. I would like shoot the web out and it would like connect with something and then I'd be swinging and I'd want to like let go of it, but it wouldn't come out of it wouldn't disconnect from my wrist. So
Uh-huh.
then it was like forcefully pulling itself as I was like swinging away. It was like forcefully pulling
Oh.
itself out of my
Uh-huh.
wrist and it was getting
Oh
bloody.
God.
And it
Oh
was, yeah,
God.
I was like, oh. So yeah, those were not fun. That was not a fun dream series. But
But
anyway.
but was it at least fun that you were Spider-Man? Were you
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh
it was
cool, this is
awesome.
awesome until that
Yeah,
happened?
swinging
You're
around
like,
like that. Yeah, it was super
yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's so cool. Dreams, man. Dreams are
Um,
awesome.
yeah, dreams are wild. Cat Blue also says, well, in real life, this wouldn't be an issue. They would have to work for the state or not at all. Police does not need to ask for permission to stop crime. Vigilant justice, evidence collection, interrogation, etc., are not admissible in court. Yeah, in fact, they bring up a couple of those things in this movie where when they're having the discussion about whether or not to sign the Sokovia Accords, William Hurt's character is like, hey, some people like you guys look at yourself as heroes, but some people might call you vigilantes.
Hmm.
So yeah, really interesting things to think about and discuss. And he also says would make for a more boring hero universe though, because police are not allowed to use the force superheroes are capable of. Yeah, And also, Campbell says, Toby Spider-Man was the first Spider-Man I got interested in, though, so I am weirded out by Spider-Man without biological web. Interesting. And Totoro says, I'm sold on Civil War. I appreciate the insights. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hope you can check
yeah,
it out if you
awesome.
haven't seen it already. It's well worth your time.
It's
All
so
right,
good.
folks. Predictions. What do
Oh,
you think, Chris?
no, I was on fire last week, man. I was like,
Yeah, you were.
I got
You were
all of
perfect
them
score.
right. Yeah, perfect score. So, I have my doubts on this one though. So give me 1 second, guys.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. Chat, let me know what you guys think the critics and the audience score is. And no cheating, no cheating. You can't go on Rotten Tomatoes and look. Okay, so I know it's going to be A and S. I just don't know where. I just don't know where. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, I'm gonna go A and A.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
gonna go A and
Interesting.
A. Yeah. Chat, please let me know if what you guys think. Captain Blue says, I'm thinking both sides loved it. In fact, I will be bold here and say S rank for both. Whoa! All right, let's
Wow.
damn. All right, Captain Blue says S for both. I'm gonna say A and A. Oh, I don't know. Just play it safe. A and A. All right, final answer.
All right. Here we go. Rotten Tomatoes critics ranking first. A tier.
Yeah!
Chris's
I'm
win
on.
streak continues.
I'm on fire.
And do you want to guess where they place it within A tier?
Okay. I'm gonna say they love it, but not as much as Winter Soldier, so I'm gonna put it right between these two. Oh
Ooh,
God.
sorry,
Oh God.
Chris.
Oh no! Did I break my streak? Is it above?
Yep.
Oh
Yep. It's at
wow.
the
Okay.
top.
Okay.
A tier. It's above Winter
I'm
Soldier.
glad. I'm glad. I'm
You were
glad.
really close though.
I'm not upset about that. I'm glad that
Yeah.
people the critics likes it more than Winter Soldier. I was playing it safe. I was playing it safe. All right.
Uh.
It's a
All right.
stupid
So
audience.
the audience score for Civil War. It's surprising. B tier.
What?
I know,
Are you
right?
serious?
Yep.
B?
There are several movies that they like that they like much more than Civil War. Yeah, I don't know why. Like that's really surprising.
Weird.
Yep.
Captain Blue says the streak is dead. Long live the new streak. Oh no, I fracked it up. Wow, it's
Dun dun
B?
dun. Yeah, I
That's
know.
not cool. Yeah, audience, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're dumb.
Uh,
They're dumb.
but you did place it correctly. They did like it more than Ant-Man, so it's in the
Yeah,
correct
yeah.
spot.
I mean, that's not too hard. I mean, one Ant-Man versus the whole ensemble.
But yeah, real surprising, right? Especially considering how much they
I
liked
am
Civil War or not
right?
Winter Soldier. Like
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
think,
yeah.
like the critics, like that makes sense. Those two right next to each other, but
Yeah,
the
right?
audiences, for some reason, were not quite as happy. I don't know why.
Huh. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. They like Guardians of Galaxy better than Civil War? They like the first Avengers
Yeah.
better than Civil War?
Yep.
Uh, Blue says, might movie fatigue explain it? Maybe. The audience might have been tired of yearly movies. That's definitely possible.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah, like superhero fatigue or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked. I would say either A or S. I would have been okay with them putting an S. Uh, I'd be okay with being wrong if they've actually put an S, but that is so weird to me. I don't like the way they did that. That's dumb. Dumb.
Yep. I mean, they didn't hate it. They still liked it, and also bear in mind that as the caveat I've mentioned a couple times is the audience ranking is a little wacky
Wacky. Sure.
because there's something I don't know how to say this without like spoiling things, but there's like there's there's at least one thing that they absolutely love and one thing they absolutely hate so much that everything else gets pushed into the middle for their rankings.
Interesting.
And I think this one's kind of one of those because yeah, well,
Mm.
I'll just save it.
Okay. I'm so curious,
But
what's the
anyway,
thing that they really hate? I mean, we already talked about Iron Man 3. That's like the worst thing in my book. All
well,
right.
we'll see.
Yeah. The
Doctor
next
Strange,
movie we will talk about is Doctor Strange.
excellent.
Oh,
Doctor
hold on.
Strange 2016 came out the same year as Civil War, but Civil War was in the summer and Doctor Strange was in the winter.
Yeah, talk about movie fatigue, right? I mean, they're just pumping out movies after movies, like two, 3 movies a year. That is like
Yep.
that's incredible. I gotta give, Marvel a lot of credit for being so organized because movies are not easy. It's not easy to do at all. Um,
Totally.
yeah. So I'll go
And
ahead
to
and
like not and it's like it would be one thing to crank out movies that quickly, but to also have to do movies that need to connect with each other and
hmm
like
hmm
your end credit scene here needs to tease the next movie that's still in production and your mid credit scene needs to tease a movie that we haven't even written yet. Like
yeah,
that's yeah. And then getting all the actors like okay, you're going to be in this movie here, but we need you to be in that movie, this
right.
which is going to be shooting next spring.
Yeah. I I
Pretty
I
impressive.
I credit Kevin Feige for being able to, take the reins over everything and just oversee making sure that everything connects. I mean, you see the difference between Marvel and, DC, whereas DC's, IP has like so many versions of that one character and it's like all over the place and
Yeah.
nothing's really connected. There's like Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, there's like a whole bunch of different kinds of Batman and it's just like does this connect with that? Does that connect with this? And it's very it's not organized. But Marvel, say what you will about Marvel, has gotten their shit, together, which I absolutely appreciate that. Yeah. I still think Batman Christopher Nolan's Batman is the best the trilogy. That that movie, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Um I wish all super movies were like that. I mean, granted they're kind of dark and grim and a little bit heavy, but oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so rooted in the world. I'm sorry, I don't mean to talk about Batman, but that movie
Please.
is freaking amazing. The third one is okay. I don't really remember the third one. The third one was fine. It had Anne Hathaway in really nice outfit. I love that. That was so hot. But it was definitely The Dark Knight. If I had to rank those three, it's The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and then um, God, it's not Batman Forever. God, what is it? The Rise of Batman, Batman Rise, the Rise of Batman. Shoot,
The Dark Knight Rises.
The Dark Knight Rises. Thank you so much. Yeah, it goes Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and then Dark Knight Rises for me. That if I had to order them because man, the sequel it's one of the few movie trilogies that the sequels is actually better than the first one in my opinion. Holy cow! Yeah, we should totally talk about that the Batman, trilogy later. It's so deep, it's so good, it's so realistic, it's so grounded, and I just freaking love it. And yeah. Anyways, Doctor Strange. This movie for me was an introduction of Doctor Strange. Prior to this movie, I didn't really know him at all, and I think this movie did a good job of explaining his origin story, right? And about how he was a surgeon and he had a huge ego and then he ended up in a car accident and then he lost his the money maker, right? He can't do surgeries anymore because he damaged all the nerves in his hands. And so he has to essentially he went on a quest to, fix his fingers. And then he ended up in the place called Karmatage and learned about the mystic arts and then got introduced to the whole, sorcery and protection of the world and mysticism and everything. It was good for me. For me, it was a good origin story. I did not know about anything about Doctor Strange. It definitely opened up another sector of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because everything else we dealt with was prior to Doctor Strange was in the world, right? And Doctor Strange opened up another universe. He opened up the mysticism, the more magical part of the MCU. And then, you know, we said that the Guardians of the Galaxy brought the MCU outside into space, right? So now Doctor Strange has brought us into the magic world, the mysticism, and the power and spells and whatnot. So I really thought that was really very very cool. Um, it was a good movie. I mean, do I remember it? Yeah, I remember parts of it. Have I seen it more than once? Yes, I've seen it more than once. Is it a movie that I say, "Oh God, I really really want to watch it"? No, it's not a movie that it's like, "Oh God, I really really want to go and check it out." For me, it was a really fun movie. Uh, it did it. Okay, I gotta ask, did it suffer from the shitty villain syndrome? I can't actually remember the who the villain is right now. Um.
Do you want me to tell you?
Oh, wait, wait.
Or do you want to
It's
look at me proof?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
You can't even remember.
what's his face? It was the guy from Casino Royale, the bad guy from
Hmm.
Casino Royale.
Yep.
I can't remember his name. Can you help me?
Begins with an M. Mads.
Oh, Mads
Mads
Mikkelsen.
Mikkelsen. Yep.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Got it.
But what's his
Oh, the
the
villain's name,
the
the
villain's
character
name?
name,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Caecilius.
Yeah, I'm never gonna remember that. That Caecilius. I think this movie suffer from a crappy a villain syndrome. Although there was the bigger villain in space or in the mystical space,
Dormammu.
Dormammu, right? And that was not that interesting. It was like, oh, hey, it's Dormammu. It's like, oh, I've come to make a deal with you. It's like, oh, okay, he's just stuck in a time loop, and that was it, and then went ahead and killed Caecilius. So yeah, it was an okay movie. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. So yeah, that's me. And I wish I could talk more about it, but some of the cool things, I love the cape. The cape was really awesome. Marvel always has a really talented way, or really, wow, what I'm trying to say. They really know how to interject comic into like a very serious situation. Because they're fighting, and all of a sudden, there's this cute little cape that or cloak or cape. I'm just gonna say cape. That actually helps them out in a very adorable way, and I really like that. So for me, if I had to rank Doctor Strange, I would put him right between A and B, but because I have to be mature about it, so this is A and this is B, I would put Doctor Strange in in A. Oh, but in B. Yeah, in B. Ooh, this is tough. Below everything else. Yeah, I would watch Ant-Man before. Well, that. Oh God, I don't know. Doctor Strange is cooler because there's magic, but Ant-Man's a lot more
Hmm.
funny, entertaining.
Hmm.
Uh, Plus I like Paul Rudd better. Yes, final answer. There, done.
There you go. Locked in.
Yep, locked in. All right, Michael, what say you?
What did I think of this movie? I rewatched this one recently too and made some notes. I've got some.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll start by just telling you where I rank this. I think this is gonna go.
It's probably gonna go here, huh? I can feel
Mm,
it. I can feel it in your voice. I can feel it.
actually, can you zoom out a little bit?
Oh, sure.
It goes in A tier.
What? Are you serious?
Ahead of Winter Soldier.
Oh my God! Who are you?
I know, right? Yeah. So, I have some things to say about this movie. I really like this movie. I think this movie taps into like some of my personal preferences more than I think it's actually like a really well-made movie. And what I mean by that is I don't like The Godfather, but I understand and respect that that movie is one of the best movies that's ever been made. I completely get it. I understand it. I can look at that movie and go, the way they're framing this camera angle here and doing this thing with the metaphor and all this stuff, like I can totally appreciate all that. I don't like watching that movie. There's so many other things I'd rather watch than The Godfather, which I know is like a very blasphemous thing to say.
I've
But I
never
can
seen The
separate.
Godfather.
I'm gonna say you're not missing much. Don't bother.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Yeah.
Um, but I can separate something that I like from something that I know is good. And I think aspects of Doctor Strange fall into the camp of that, of like certain pieces of it I think actually are really genuinely well made cinema. But then there's a lot of things in there that just tickle my fancy. Like I love the sort of like, you know, Kathmandu, Nepal village in the mountains,
Mhm.
sorcerer
Mhm.
temple stuff with all the artifacts. Like, oh my god, I love that stuff so much. Like it just
Mm.
I get Indiana Jones ancient artifact vibes, and then
Oh,
just
sure, sure.
yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy store with that stuff. And I also really like the sort of metaphysical, sciencey stuff smashing together and asking these really interesting questions about the universe. So a lot of that stuff's really interesting to me, and I just, man, I love the Tilda Swinton character. She's so like the Ancient One as the character is really interesting and awesome, and she just chews up every scene that she's in. Like she is so good. Like she is such an incredible actor.
Mhm.
I loved her. I thought she was great. Mordo, the I can't pronounce the guy's name. He's got a really difficult name to pronounce. The actor who plays.
Chia Ejiofor or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
Chiwetel or something.
Chiwetel Ejiofor. Yeah.
He plays Mordo in the movie, so I'm just gonna call him Mordo.
Mordo.
He's also really awesome, but I have like a huge frustration, not with this movie, but with like later Marvel movies, because the end credit scene for this one, he like for the whole movie, he's like her right hand man. He's constantly defending the decisions that she makes. He really believes in the mission of um, Carmitage, which is this this sacred organization in place that Stephen Strange seeks out to learn basically how to heal his hands, but then he ends up getting kind of swept up into becoming a sorcerer defending Earth. Um, but back to Mordo, he's like a complete believer in everything.
Mhm.
And then in the end credit scene, it's revealed that he's been completely disillusioned, and now he's, the line that he says at the end of the movie when he steals the sorcerer powers from somebody else and like cripples that person, and the person's like, "Why are you doing this?" He says, "Because I finally know what's wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers." Cut to black, and I was like, "Oh man, he's gonna make such an awesome villain. Like he's gonna be like such a cool antagonist in some future, movie or
Mhm.
movies."
Yeah.
Um, I won't give any spoilers away, but to the best of my knowledge, I don't do anything with that guy. He's just like what you think they're setting up. They just completely don't do anything with that. Um, and I have other issues too with this movie. Well, not with this movie, with later movies that like retcon or screw things up in this movie. And I don't want to spoil any of those either, but we'll put a little earmark here for like future discussions. There's
Hmm.
something in this movie that I already hated in a later movie or later movies. And it's just like, wait a minute. You guys made these, you did this. You made these decisions. Did you watch this movie that you've already made? Like, there are things in here that are just completely incongruent with this other thing that you did. Why? Anyway, so I've got like a bit of a chip on my shoulder, even having like rewatched it and seen all these things, and went like, wait a minute, what the hell?
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, let's talk about this movie. Um,
So curious.
I one of the things that's like super cool to me about this movie is you can make a lot of parallel comparisons between Doctor Strange and Thor, the first, origin story Thor movie.
Sure. Sure.
Um, because both those characters, Stephen Strange and Thor, are arrogant,
Hmm.
narcissistic, assholes to everybody around them. They have, wealth and power. Um,
Tony
and
Stark
so
is
they're
kind of like that.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah.
Tony, yeah, you could actually do three parallels. You could say,
Yeah.
you got Tony Stark, Doctor Strange, and Thor all kind of fit this mold of narcissistic, ego-driven, very arrogant, super powerful characters, and each one of them we get like a different twist on seeing the chink in the armor, having them brought down from their pedestal to you know to be humbled. In
Hmm.
the case of Tony, uh, it's his legacy. His when he has such a deep respect for his parents and specifically for his father and the sort of empire that his father built and bestowed onto him. And to have people start, like one of the very early scenes of the original Iron Man, there's a reporter who calls him the Merchant of Death, and that really gets under his skin, um, and that's interesting. And we start to see that, even though it seems like this guy has everything, the people who are closest to him, I mentioned this when we talked about the original Iron Man. He he acts very immature. He's very much like a child, and they call him on it. And you can tell that this is a sort of defensive behavior where he's acting out because he has not grappled with this of the actual responsibility of what his company and the legacy that his father left to him is actually the impact that it's having on the world, and so he has to grapple with that. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes him so interesting and not detestable. And one of the other things that they do too is, even with all of that, Tony is still actually a really cool dude. Like, he's really genuine and nice to even underling people. So like
Hmm.
when he's in the casino, he's interacting with just the regular, guests, and he's, giving out good tips. When he's on the mission, when he's given the promotional weapons demonstration in the Middle East, he's riding in the Humvee and like taking selfies with the soldiers and joking with them, having a good time. I mean, he's being a really lovely person. And so even though he has all of this like wealth and power around him, and yes, he is narcissistic and egoistic, we get to see pretty quickly that's a front. That's him putting up a shield to protect the very vulnerable, tender person that he really is. Um, so I think that's one of the reasons why he works so well. And Thor doesn't work well because we never get to see that. He's kind of just an asshole, and even when he gets, sent to Earth and his hammer gets taken away, he's never like it still seems like that's just a mild inconvenience. Like damn it, I need to get my hammer back. And he's still acting like an a-hole, and it's never like entered into his mind that like, you know, maybe I'm not worthy of that hammer. Like, and then he doesn't or if he has that kind of inner conflict, that inner drama, that doesn't happen for a long time. Like, you can get halfway through Thor, which I
Hmm.
think the most recent time I tried to rewatch it, I watched at least an hour of it, and he hasn't even had a modicum of introspection in that regard. So he's still like really unlikable as a character. And Stephen Strange starts off even worse than Thor, where he is
Mhm.
like very rude to underlings. He's very like high-minded of himself. He's a complete asshole to Christine, this woman who clearly loves him and
Mhm.
would be really good for him. And he doesn't even, and she's trying to put him in his place, but he's like just so full of himself he doesn't even realize it. He's just a complete a-hole. And within 10 minutes, he gets in a car accident and his whole life is completely fucked. And
Yeah.
Christine, doesn't want to, date him. And there's even this moment where like he's spent all of his money and he's yelling at her and she's like, you know what, fuck this. And like gives him back his keys and walks out. And so then he's alone. And that's what makes, I think, Iron Man and Doctor Strange successful where Thor isn't.
Mm.
Is they very quickly show you here's a character who's clearly his problem is that he's full of himself.
Right.
And we either very quickly show you who he really is and that he's actually a good person, or smash him into the ground because that's the only way he's going to learn this lesson. That doesn't really happen with Thor. That absolutely happens with Stephen Strange. This is a
Mm.
broken, like completely broken man who's just totally
Mhm.
disheveled, not taking care of himself, completely broke, wandering the streets of Kathmandu, totally helpless within like 12 minutes of that movie beginning. Um, and that's really interesting to me. Like I love those like seeing characters have to struggle up from rock bottom, and that's something that's so cool about the Stephen Strange story. And they do an amazing job of developing his character throughout that whole movie, where you get the starting point of him being like so full of himself, huge crash down to where
Mhm.
like his entire reality is completely turned upside down, literally, and then later like or metaphorically, and then later literally.
Mhm.
um and then he's slowly building up and building more confidence, and having the very narrow perception of the world that he had slowly expanded until he becomes a very changed person. And
Right.
to like sum all that up, there's this really amazing interaction between him and Mordo and the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton's character, where he's getting pissed off because he's like, this is when Caecilius is starting to like cause some chaos and get involved, and he's stealing artifacts and killing people and shit. And Stephen Strange is like, hey, what's going on here? Like this guy, I had to kill one of these people to save my life. Like I just came here to heal myself. I don't want to get roped into this like interstellar sorcery war. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to be part of this conflict. And so he's kind of fighting with verbally fighting with the Ancient One and Mordo about this, and he says something along the lines of like, I, I took an oath to become a doctor, and I did that because I wanted to save lives. And the Ancient One says, you became a doctor to save one life, your own. And I was like,
Mm.
damn, wow, yeah, that's
Mm. Mm. Mm.
absolutely right. And she is the one who is not. She's not. That's what makes their relationship so interesting. Is she's not just trying to teach him sorcery and how to become like a a sorcerer of the multiverse. um the more important mission and the more important lesson that she's trying to teach him is how to be humble and to understand that it's not about him, and that is the like root of his misery and his dissatisfaction is he's just so focused on himself and not anybody else,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that's really the key. And and that his this perception of his identity that he had before the accident, um, is an illusion. And it's an illusion that he's just so completely bought into that he can't even see what he could be outside of that. And so, anyway, I just think it's this really interesting character arc for like an origin story, and to see. And I think Benedict Cumberbatch is an amazing actor. I think he's really
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
in it. Um, it's super cool. So yeah, I've got a couple of other notes here, but let's see. Oh, it's got some Batman Begins vibes for me too. I get some. It's reminiscent of when Bruce Wayne is in. I think he's in Mongolia or something. He's like in this Mongolian prison
Oh yeah. 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 The
in
was it the League of Shadows.
Ducard. Yeah, exactly. Ducard
Yeah,
comes and like invites him to join the League of Shadows, and then they're up in the
yeah,
monastery in the mountains, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm getting a little bit of that feeling.
yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. Um, oh, and another thing that this movie does so well that I think is so cool is for some parts of it. I do have some complaints that I'll get to in a second, but you'll often hear me complaining about scale. In fact, even in this stream, I've already complained about scale, where it's like, one of the reasons why the DC characters are not as interesting or relatable is because they're gods. And when that happens, you're like, okay, well, we need a commensurate obstacle for a god. So it's got to be like, well, the whole universe is at stake. Like, I'm so tired of like the whole world or the whole universe is being threatened in this movie. It's just so much more interesting to me when you go to a smaller scale
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
when you use restraint. And that's something you see a lot in this movie, even though you're talking about somebody who's like becoming a sorcerer who can actually like conjure matter into existence and pull things from other dimensions. They do some really clever things that that succeed in two objectives. One, they further highlight that Stephen Strange is still learning. He's still becoming a sorcerer. He's still becoming the superhero that he will eventually be.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But he's learning and he can't do all this cool stuff yet. And two, that restraint, like being clever and not just like I don't know, shoot a giant laser beam at it and blow it up, but doing things that are like really smart and interesting. For example, there's one moment where I think this is actually immediately after he's having the argument with Tilda Swinton or with the Ancient One and Mordo about like his selfishness. I think they get attacked by
Oh,
Caecilius, the bad guy, and he gets like blasted through a portal and ends up in New York, in the New York monastery.
branch. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then that branch gets attacked by Caecilius and his zealots. So they're fighting and they kill the protector of that place, and then they're chasing after uh, Stephen Strange. And there's this really funny interaction between Caecilius and Strange where they're
Yeah.
meeting for the first time. Do you remember this,
Yeah,
Chris?
I do. I do. Yeah, yeah.
Where Caecilius sees Doctor Strange and is like, and you are Mister. And then because Stephen's constantly people are calling him Mister,
Yeah.
and he corrects them to say like, I'm Doctor. So he says Doctor, and Caecilius misinterprets and is like, Mister Doctor. And then
Yeah.
he says, it's strange. Caecilius says, maybe,
It is.
but
Yeah.
who am I to judge?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was
Uh,
pretty cool.
that was like so good.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, a lot of the jokes in this one are pretty great. But after that little joke, they start chasing him and fighting him, and and he's overwhelmed. Like he can't fight these really well trained disciples of Caecilius and Caecilius himself. So there's this room at the end of a hallway with these like three very large windows, and there's this like glowing rotating control panel on the side of each window. And one of the windows is like looking out into a rainforest. One of the windows is like looking out into a beautiful marine coastline, and another one is looking out into I don't know some like snowy mountains or something. Um, and when Strange opens those windows, they're actually it's not an illusion. Like it's really a portal out into that place.
Yeah.
And so he's fighting these zealots, and he like throws them out the window, then cranks the knob, which changes the scene. So it throws one person out into the desert, switches the knob, the scene changes to like a rainforest or something, and then that's how he gets rid of that zealot. Like he
Mm-hmm.
strands them out in that place, and I felt like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Um, and they do a lot of stuff like that in this movie. There's another thing that I think is really interesting in the lore of the Doctor Strange world, and that is this idea that there are all these magical artifacts. There are like magical weapons and boots and the cloak and the pieces of clothing and books and things that have like incredible power. And at one point, Strange asks like, "Well, hey, when do I get my magical artifact?" And Mordo tells him like, "You don't that's not for you to decide. The artifact
Mm,
chooses you, and it will
mm.
do so when the time comes. So it's like, man, that's pretty neat. To it's kind of like the Harry Potter thing, right? Where you're like, you don't pick the house, like the sorting hat picks you,
Right.
or chooses the house for you. So that was really neat. And then they do some really cool stuff where the cloak finally picks him, and has like its own personality, like what you were mentioning earlier, Chris.
Yeah, it's
And
cool.
it's like it's a jokester. Like it has these moments where it's like really funny. Um, but anyway, so yeah, stuff like that throughout the movie I think is just so good, and I really just love it. Um, what else do I have here? Oh, okay. So a couple of things that I'm not super crazy about.
Mm.
I agree with you. I think the villain is pretty lame. I think Caecilius as a character
Yeah.
is just not that interesting.
Hmm.
He's similar to Zemo, where he's like, he himself is not really that compelling, but he's like orchestrating things to happen that are interesting, I guess. Or he's like orchestrating the the chaos and the obstacle for the hero to overcome. But he himself is just not that interesting. However, damn, can Mads Mikkelsen act?
Yeah, he's so good.
Like even with that character who's not that interesting, he is just killing it in every
Yeah.
single scene that he's in. I'm
Yep.
just like, man, he is so good. Um, so I really wish he had had a better character to embody, because he
Hmm.
really was awesome in that. Um, I don't like the Dormammu character.
Yeah.
I think it's clever and interesting. The way he like defeats him at the end. Like, okay, yeah, sure. But again, it's the like whole universe is getting blown up. Like, come on. Like, do we really? Does every single movie have to do that? Like, it was so interesting just to have this story about Steven himself, like going on this like his entire world was at stake. Like, that's enough. Like, that's interesting. Like, just focus on that, and maybe give Caecilius more time to be this sort of rogue disciple who maybe even starts to like plant seeds in Strange's head about like you can't trust the Ancient One, which they do a little bit of, but they don't really develop it that much. Like, I would have much preferred them to just focus on that story and keep it much smaller than bring in all of the sort of like world-ending interdimensional universe
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
um so yeah, I don't know. Not super fond of that, but on the whole, like I really like Doctor Strange. I think the character's really cool. I love the world. I think the movie's very well done, and I have very strong things to say about the the next Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, okay, okay. I
I'll
I
leave
I
it there.
have I haven't seen that yet. I'm looking very much forward to your analysis of that movie. And yeah, it okay, that makes more sense of all everything that he explained. Yeah, it definitely has an Indiana Jones vibe. Same with, Batman Begins. You always go to this like, the India very very Kamar-Taji, place. It has like all these artifacts and yeah, it's like seeking treasures. That's very you. Now you explained it. I totally get it. I totally understand as to why you like that. It's very fun. It's very very fun. Yeah, good
Yeah,
job, man.
absolutely.
Great analysis. Uh,
Thank you.
and Killer Cookies in the house. Hello, she says. Oh no, I'm late, but
Woo!
no worries at all. We're really happy to have you here. Totoro says, man, I love this unexpected dive into Doctor Strange, which I watched on a flight to Japan in 2018 when I knew Michael for 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
There you go. Wow,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, Captain Blue Blue says, quick look, the versus gimmick is already bringing a bad reputation, and people were disappointed in how little Spider-Man was in it. Well, it's not a Spider-Man movie. Come on, man. It's just a tiny little introduction. Of course, they're not gonna put like a whole bunch of Spider-Man. We were blessed to just get however much Spider-Man we had. I mean, it was a blessing, man. So I don't know what the hell those people are saying. Captain Blue continues. Some say that they expected the fight scene to be longer since it was the focal point of the commercials.
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, I would say keep it short, keep it simple, keep it keep it fun and engaging and energetic, and while we're still enjoying it, cut it so that we don't get bored, right? We should end on a high note and not like, all right, how long is this gonna fight going to keep on going, you know? So I'm actually happy with the length, even though I want to see more, but I know for a fact that I would be like, oh yeah, yay, you know, I wouldn't be as appreciative with it. I mean, just like Spider-Man, right? And also Black Panther, right? Oh, we should have had more Black Panther. Sit down, man. Sit down. You got it, and you should be grateful. Be grateful, take it what you like, and you'll like it. You people. I'm sorry, Michael. Do you have anything to add
Get him,
to
Chris.
that? Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Go.
you nailed it. And Captain Blue, thanks for doing the research. It sounds like, yeah, it sounds like the problem with Civil War wasn't that the movie was bad, it's that the marketing misled people,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
unfortunate because it's so good.
It's so good,
And
and oh, go ahead, Michael.
I was just gonna say, I totally agree with you. Like the fact that Spider-Man's in that movie at all is amazing.
Mm,
If
mm,
because if you know the the licensing hell that Spider-Man is in, being
mm.
basically Sony
Yeah,
owns the rights to Spider-Man in
yeah.
perpetuity. As long as they
Yeah.
keep making Spider-Man movies, they will always own the exclusive right to make Spider-Man movies. And so
Mhm, mhm,
Disney and Marvel can't even use Spider-Man in their own movies
mhm, mhm.
unless Sony says okay. And so some kind of crazy magic happened behind the scenes where they were able to like get Sony to allow them to use their version of Spider-Man in the MCU. Like that, that he's in there at all, like Chris said, is a miracle. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with Chris.
Yeah, so stop complaining, you people. I'm not talking to Captain Blue. I'm talking to the people that Captain Blue was talking about. It- don't get like tricked by the marketing too. Just just watch the film, and if you're mature enough, try to not watch a whole bunch of trailers. Just watch one and be like, all right, don't watch anymore, and then just go into the movies, blind if possible, and you'll appreciate the movie a lot more not having set your expectations so high. I mean, it's a Marvel film, right? I mean, I'm sure it's more often than not a Marvel film is usually good. Captain Moo says one writes that they gave it a 1 star since they didn't like seeing their heroes fight each other. That's stupid. You know what? You know what? My uncle's that way. My uncle actually that person is not the only one. My uncle, he says that he doesn't want to go watch a Civil War is because he doesn't want to see the hero fight each other. I'm like, are you serious? That is so cool that they get to fight each other. I mean, what other times are they going to fight each other? It's like what? Heroes can't fight amongst themselves.
Yeah.
You live in a world that's like black and white. It's like everything is all, good versus bad only. No, man. That's what is, makes it complex, makes it, colorful, in the gray zone, the gray area where, they can fight each other. It makes it interesting. So those people who say they don't like seeing them fight, I mean, again, it's all subjective. You like what you like, but stretch your rubber band a little bit, open up to things, right? Don't just it's all black and white. So he also continues kind of sweet and dumb at the same time in my opinion. I absolutely agree with you. It's very it's like, you know, oh, the world is beautiful, good versus evil only, it's like, come on, come on, man. Just yeah, Michael, what do you what say you, dude?
Yeah, I agree with you. Conflict is interesting. Like
Yeah.
even especially among the heroes. Like I think it's
Mm-mm-mm.
more interesting when they fight each other than when they fight some, random evil guy who's trying to destroy the whole universe. Like it's way more interesting to
Yeah.
have Tony and Captain America be on opposite sides of a decision to move forward with the group about something, like especially when it's not very clear which direction's the right one. Like that's
Right.
really interesting. So yeah, I don't have any problem with heroes fighting with each other. In fact, I think it's a sign of immature writing ability if you don't have the heroes fighting with each other, because that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes the
Mhm.
journey
Mhm.
worth going on, and that's a really important lesson to convey to anybody consuming the story, is that adventures being the sort of like metaphor for life is difficult, and going on that adventure with other people is tough, and you're gonna
Mhm.
get tired of each other, you're gonna step on each other's toes, you're gonna piss each other off. But you need to do that and get through it and get past it and learn how to work together in order to
Yeah.
accomplish the goal. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's a crazy take to like. I don't want to see the heroes fight each other.
Yeah, I think
What?
I think that's so silly. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Cookie asked, what movies have you guys done today? We done two movies, only two movies, and you're actually we did what is it? Civil War and Doctor Strange. They're right next to each other. And this is Michael's. He has put both movies in A, and now that he explained it, I understand and appreciate his choices in the matter that he actually put it in A. So yes, of course, Cookie, you can absolutely join. So let's say Civil War. Where would you put Civil War on your chart?
I think Captain Blue Blue ranks Civil War in B tier based exclusively on the quality of the poster because he
The
hasn't seen
poster.
any of the movies. He's only rating them based on how good the poster is.
Yeah. And Cookie says B. What?
Wow.
What? All right. So what? Okay, so B, do you put it above Iron Man 2, in between Iron Mans, or all the way below? Let me know where you want to put it. But wow, man, Cookie is a harsh critic.
Super harsh critic.
Yeah, holy
Can't wait
cow.
to see what's in Cookies in the other A tier and
Wow.
S tier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Holy cow. Okay, so this Cookie has put War right in between Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 1. Okay, Cookie, next movie. It's Doctor Strange. Where would you like to be, or where would you like to put Doctor Strange? An A.
Yeah.
Whoa, you agree with Michael? All right, so let's say is it above Guardians or below Guardians? Captain Blue, below Guardians. Wow. Okay. 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 I could sort of agree with that. I could agree with that. Captain Blue says, I think Cookie missed the last time's movie. Yeah. Okay, which one did she miss? I forget.
Let's see
I think
here.
it was Ant-Man. I
Yeah,
think it
last
was
time we did, I think, so in reverse order, Ant-Man, Avengers, Age of Ultron,
Oh,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
I
and
think
in
that
reverse
was
order.
it. Age of Ultron, right? So
Yep.
so Cookie, you have two more you got to put. Ant-Man as well as Age of Ultron. So let's go ahead and do Ant-Man first. Where do you want to put Ant-Man? Where do you want to put Ant-Man?
And
Dun
while you're
dun
doing that,
dun dun
Captain Blue
dun.
Blue says Doctor Strange is an A tier poster. Warmer colors are a nice breeze, and I dig the use of geometric shapes. Nice.
Michael,
Me too.
she
I like
Mike
the poster.
Michael, she's putting Ant-Man in D.
What? Holy smokes.
Are you? Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
Pretty
Ah,
harsh.
this is hurt. It hurts. It hurts.
No need to apologize, Cookie. It's not the best
It's
Marvel
your
movie. I can
list.
totally understand why
Yeah,
you would put it there. But
it's your list.
wow, Paul Rudd's charm didn't bring it up a little bit for you. Just get it up
Yeah.
one tier.
Yeah. Cookie says in D, but is it above Captain America or below Captain America? That's probably below. I have a feeling it's going to be
I
below. What do you think?
yeah
Yeah.
yeah I think it's below.
All right. Okay. Yeah, below. Yep.
Yep.
She said below. Nice. Okay. We got it right. Okay. And where would you put Age of Ultron? That's hard though. Yep. Age of Ultron. What would you like to put Age of Ultron? Age of Ultron is the second Avenger film.
Oh yeah, and I guess Totoro went to bed. He says, "My friends,
Oh,
I must go to bed."
Oh,
Tavern
shoot. Okay.
patrons and barkeeps, I bid you good morrow, and retire to the inn. Blue Blue Cookie Lighthouse, be well all. Be well,
Nice.
y'all.
Good night, Totoro. Thank you for hanging out with us. Cookie says below everything in B.
Oh, interesting.
Wow. So she's actually with the critics on this one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, she's it's very same with the critics here.
there you go.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of the Rotten Tomatoes, are you ready to do
Oh,
Doctor
oh,
Strange?
yeah. I forgot about the thing. Okay, chat. Where do you guys think Doctor Strange lies on the tier from the for the critics as well as the audience? So this is Doctor Strange. Ooh, Cookie says SS.
Oh wow,
Wow. Okay.
old.
What say you, Captain Blue Blue? You say AB? Okay, Captain Blue says AB. What do I say? I say, oh God. Um, I say AA.
Okay, so we got SS, AB, and AA.
Yeah. Watch, it's like
All
C and
right.
D. She was like, oh shit, we're all wrong. Oh my God. Oh my God.
uh, I think you guys are on the right track here.
All right.
All
All
right,
right. Good,
Rotten
good, good.
Tomatoes critics. So this is the critic score.
Critics.
Doctor Strange is A tier.
Yeah!
Good job, Chris.
Go me.
Getting that streak back already.
Yeah, baby.
And any idea where it ranks in A tier?
Oh, above Ant-Man.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm on fire, baby. Yeah, I'm on fire. Get off my lawn.
Okay. And next, the Rotten Tomatoes audience score.
Audience.
Doctor Strange is in B tier.
What?
Yeah,
Good job, Captain Blue Blue. Captain Blue Blue got it absolutely correct.
there you
In
go.
B tier? What?
Yep.
Actually, wait,
I
that's where
know
I
the
put it.
audience is weird. Like some of their choices I totally get. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. But then
Yeah,
some of them, like Civil War, like what? Okay.
yeah. I
Um,
say I think it's right between Civil War and Ant-Man.
bingo.
Yeah, yeah.
Nailed
Well,
it.
apparently I agree with the audience.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Huh. And you agree, you and Cookie both agree with the critics.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not the company I like. Well, Cookie, I'm totally fine with. You know, that company I'm okay with, but the
Y-
critics,
Critics.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a fishy bunch.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, this is
But I'm
awesome.
not changing my mind. I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, no, I mean the way you explain it, it totally explains as to why you like it so much. And that I'm more accepting of your answer now.
Well, I'm proud of myself for clawing my way out of that.
Cookie says, I feel like Doctor Strange was really well done. Yeah, it absolutely is. Captain Blue says, I don't think critics are allowed anything below B or Disney will review ban them from early releases. Oh my God.
They won't get the check in the mail.
Exactly. Those shills, shills. The Cookie says, what? I do too. Uh, meaning, meaning that you like the movies?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, do you think we've got energy, time to do? Want to do one
Uh,
more?
no,
Want to
no. I
save
think
it?
let's go ahead and save it because we're gonna have to look at some amazing artwork done
Oh,
by
yes.
you guys. Yeah. So let me go ahead and close this. Boom, and we'll go
I hope
close
Gentleman
that.
Heavy's here because he posted something that was pretty cool.
Oh, I know, right? So let's see. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a painting by, of course, the amazing June Alice Art. She did another digital painting, this right here,
Ooh,
and
I
I
love it.
believe, I think I'm not, I didn't look at the title of it. I think this is from Attack on Titans. It may be one of
Mm,
the characters, because to me, this guy is wearing like a cloak, or a cape or something, and then there's a guy
mhm.
that kind of has this kind of hairstyle. And
Interesting.
I'm gonna look right now.
I have not seen Attack on Titan, so I would not know.
So it's she put it in these fallen leaves, quote, in these fallen leaves, unquote, for marks are hot, and hashtag Erui. I have no idea who that is, so I can't confirm or deny if that's actually from Age of, or not Age of Empire, Attack on Titans, Age of Empires. Um, Captain Blue Blue, do you have, and Cookie, do you guys have any idea who uh Erui is? Erui, Erui. All right. But yeah, June, thank you so much for sharing your amazing paintings as always. As always. Thank you. All right, next thing that we're gonna take a look at, and I'm probably just gonna do this because it's a lot easier to see. Well, to be honest, I'm gonna have to zoom in on
Yeah, because
this
these are
bad
just
boy
pretty
because it's,
tiny.
oh God, it's so tiny. I
It's shocking how small these are.
yeah, Captain Blue will actually show these on my stream, and I was like, I asked him, "Did you paint
How
this
the
with like?"
hell did you paint that?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
"Did you
with a
paint?"
toothpick or something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, "Did you get like three baby hair strands and then use those to paint this?" It's like, my gosh, and you can see his uh fingerprints and palm prints. It's
Yeah.
so small, and
Yeah, very impressive, Heavy. Like this is, I mean, all of the like miniatures that you do are very impressive, but particularly like how tiny these are. Like I could not believe how small these were.
yeah, it's insane. You need a lot of patience, you need to
Yeah,
be
exactly.
meticulous, and you need to actually love what you're doing, or else, you would go crazy trying to make these little bad boys.
The
Uh,
the height of the character isn't like doesn't seem like it's even as tall as the length of the tip of a brush.
yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right.
So
I
that's
tell
super
you, man,
cool.
like painting is not easy at all. It takes so
No,
much
it's not.
control, patience, and
I
just,
can't. Yeah, I can't do it.
yeah, you need to love what you're doing, or else there's no reason to do this if you don't love doing this. And look at
Yeah,
this
because
one,
it's
man.
it. Oh, neat. Yeah, because
That's
it's not even just about like being able to control the brush, but there's also like all of this like muscle memory you need for the amount of pressure that you apply and like how much of the material of the paint or the acrylic or the gouache or whatever it is that you're like how much is still in the tip of the brush and how much you're trying to apply and it's I don't know. I'm amazed.
yeah,
I can't do it.
yeah. When he posted this, I was just like, all right, you need to post this in the Creative Tavern because we're gonna share it and talk about it because this is
Very
just
cool.
freaking insane, man.
Yeah, good job, dude. These are great.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're
Heavy.
watching the VOD later.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Thumbs up.
Awesome work, Heavy. All right. Then just let's take a look. So this one, this one. Wow, wow. That's it's crazy. Seriously, good job, man. Freaking awesome. All right, next one we have cookies, and I
Yeah.
believe this.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, no one. Okay, I was like, wait, I've seen this one before, but it's not in this creator. I think Cookie, you posted this in feedback, and I did not give you any feedback yet. I was kind of busy this week. I apologize. But this looks really cute. I like it. you're using little texture dots in what are these called?
Yeah.
I forgot what's it called. What is that?
Halftone?
Halftone. There you go. Thank you, Michael. Yep, absolutely. You're using halftone textures, and that's great. Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, I love it too. It's got a very manga feel.
And especially the face and the eyes. It absolutely is a manga, and it looks like she's a barista.
Yeah.
You gave her a little
Maybe
bit
a
of a uniform.
like a German barista, maybe?
Oh,
If this was colored and that was like green and brown, then I would have been like, yep, that's definitely like a German barmaid barista. But maybe I'm
what
misreading it.
what makes you think it's a German barmaid? Is it because of the
That
stripes?
outfit is like really ringing bells in my head of like like beer fest or beer garden sorts where you're
Oh,
like,
sure.
right? You see like the
Yeah.
barmaids wearing the like
Mm-hmm.
the suspender kind of looking things.
Yeah. And usually they're what covers their arms or it's like a poofy
Mm-hmm.
sleeve, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What does Cookie say? Uh,
Yeah,
she
Captain Blue
says
Blue's got it. I think that's it. Lederhosen.
Lederhosen. There you go. Cookie says her name is Coffee Bean. Oh, her name's that's
Nice.
cute. I was playing around, except I can't do hands for shit. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I
Hands are
cannot
tough.
draw. Yeah, hands are tough. Cookie says I didn't realize to be honest. So yeah, she didn't realize it was very much German uh influenced.
That's just my interpretation.
Hmm
Doesn't
hmm
doesn't
hmm
have to be the case. But yeah, I like it too. And I like what you did with the mouth and the teeth. She's got a very cute smile. Like
Yeah,
it, it's tough to get the teeth and
yeah,
mouths right.
mouse.
But
Right.
yeah, she's super cute. Love it.
By the way, this is we're not sponsored by them. We're not doing any promotion for. They're not paying us, but Cookie, Captain Blue Blue, if you guys don't know, there is currently a sale going on for this digital painting program called Rebel Pro 5 or Rebel 5 or Rebel. I will Google it and make sure to check it out, okay? Because holy cow, like oh, I didn't even talk to you about this, Michael. There's another program. It's Photoshop-esque, but it actually emulates real oil paint. Like when you put a
Ooh.
brush paint down, you can see
Uh-huh.
the bumpiness of the paint, and
Whoa, cool.
you could blend it with other paint colors. It just mushes it together. It's so good. And the best part,
Wow, really?
it's only cost $10. So valuable. So Captain Blue Blue, Cookie, we're not
Wow.
sponsored by them, but I don't know when
Check it out, huh?
I don't know when their sale is over, but it's $10 right now. And if you don't have a perpetual, you buy it once, one and done. Buy it once and done. This is the only
Damn.
time where I will tell you guys to get it. Even though if you don't have, because Cookie, I know you work on your iPad. Rebel is currently not on the not for the iPad, but make sure to go and check it out. Actually, I will do that right now. Uh, Reb,
Rebel spelled like Rebel Alliance.
yeah, Rebel, REBELLE.
Oh, LLE. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right here. It is a wonderful program. Please, you guys go check it out because we're not getting paid to talk about this. I just played with it and holy cow, I am absolutely blown away by this program. So let me click play. So yeah, all apps $10 only. So I don't know when it's going to end. So make sure you guys check it out. And just a really quick demo. So on the right is real traditional paint, and on the left is the the the, the digital painting. and
Wow,
it's
that's
it it's
pretty
legit.
impressive.
Yeah, I played with it. Their ink pen, their pencil is really good. I've only played with their oils. I haven't gotten a chance to play with the watercolor. So make sure, Captain Blue Blue, if you feel like doing some paintings with this, get this program for $10. It is a steal because it is legit. And Michael, obviously, you're more than welcome to check it out too because this is it's a good program.
Yeah, looks awesome.
I'm gonna turn off the thing. It blends very, very well. Right now, they're just using the watercolor feature. I'm not really into watercolor, but right here, it essentially shows you how, it picks up pigments from another, pigment, and you just keep
Hmm.
blending it together. And oh my
Yeah.
gosh, when I did it, I was like, how is it gonna feel? It feels so good. It feels so natural, and it kind of reminds me of Painter, the program Painter, but not as clunky.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So far I'm loving it. I played it with it once on stream, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It does this thing where like you
Wow.
paint on it and then it dries. It
Oh yeah, cool.
emulates
Or
the wetness.
yeah, neat. Man,
Yeah.
and up in the top left it says that this is the 10-year anniversary. Has this really been around for 10 years and we just never knew about it?
I've never heard of this program at all
Yeah,
until
neither
like
had
last week.
I.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that nanopixel tech. That's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know what that means,
Because
but
when they
sure.
zoom in there, it's like you can see it's like the texture of the paper. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's pretty cool. So you guys make sure to play around with it. If you guys don't have a computer, I would say still just get it and just save it so that in the future you'll be able to get it. Can you send the link? Oh, sure, of course. Here you go. Here is the link. There you go. Escape Motion sponsor us, you sons of bitches. I'm like, I'm, I'm, I'm shilling for you guys. So yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, good
enough.
share, man. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
enough of that. The next thing I want to show really quick is, oh, this is a cute sketch. So this was the sketch that Cookie did
Oh,
prior to the drawing.
love
You
it.
know what? I actually like this a lot better than the other one. This one has more energy, Cookie. I know this is like a sketch, but this sketch has, in my opinion, it has so much more uh, energy to it. If I had to like spend $5 to buy whichever one, I would spend money on this one instead of the other one. This has like energy. She has a little bit of a head tilt, and it like I know I can speak for Michael. Michael and I both kind of like the sketchiness feel of drawings versus like super super clean tight lines because again, to me, it has more energy. Well, what do you think, Michael?
Yeah, nope, I agree. I'm a sucker for sketchy type drawings.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, I agree. This does feel like there's more dynamism, especially in that head area where it almost looked like it's either the wind is blowing or she's actually moving to the right
Hmm.
side of the screen, and
Hmm.
so her ponytail is kind of trailing her a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I agree. I mean, I like them both, but yeah, I think I like this one more than the other one too.
Well, we could actually take a look at both really quick. Um, Granted, it's not like zoomed in, but
Sure.
you could kind of tell. I think I like this one because it's a little bit more asymmetric, whereas this one is more just, kind of like a pose, right? Um,
Hmm.
it's weird. It's a gut feeling that I get. Cookie says,
But
"Me too."
still, good work on the cleanup and the rendering in the
Yeah,
final one. Like, it's
yeah,
really good.
yeah. It's all good. For some reason, I was struggling to recreate it. Hey, you're not the only one. I struggle all the time trying to recreate. You know, I, and that's the reason why I always try to, not delete everything because the underlying sketch usually is more dynamic than the cleanup artwork. and I have to always make sure I keep it so that I don't lose the initial energy of the sketch.
Hmm.
Yeah. So good job, man. Captain Blue says I prefer the body of the other one though. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Mm.
It's Captain Blue likes the other one as well. So yeah. See, art is so subjective. I like this one. He likes this one. Which one's the right one? There's no answer. It's all subjective. Hence, that's why it's art. But yeah, thank you so much, Cookie, for sharing this. This is awesome, and thank you so much, what is it? Gentleman Heavy, as well as June
Gentlemen,
for sharing your amazing work, guys. You guys are all so talented, and just thank you so much for enlightening us with your amazing artwork. Yeah. All right. Michael, I think we're good for tonight.
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
before I forget, one more reminder. We're doing a survey for the Creative Tavern, basically just to get sort of feedback from the community about the future of what we're doing. Yep, perfect. Chris has got the link there for you. Um, Basically, we're just Chris and I have been having discussions now that we finished the first project, the rail shooter video game. We're kind of taking a break, but we're also discussing a little bit here and there about like things that
Mm.
we might do in the future. But we want to invite you guys to be part of that process and let us know, of the stuff that you've seen us do so far. What do you like? But also, here's a list of things that maybe we're not doing, but you would like us to, or you would like to see us do. So if you can, please take a. Should be a really quick survey, maybe 3 to 5 minutes tops. But if you can, take a look at that and let us know what you think. We're gonna keep that survey open for probably the rest of the month, maybe a little bit longer, and we'll kind of keep plugging it on each stream, and we'll also put it in the Discord. Uh, but yeah, so please take a look and let us know, and you can help us figure out where we're gonna go from here.
Yeah, and again, thank you so much, Michael, for creating that. And yeah, Michael sent that to me. I was like, wow, this is wonderful. We could actually see what people would like us to talk about. Because for me, as much as fun as it was doing the game, it was also very, very hard. And it takes a lot of time and energy to design a game. So. Uh, Please be gentle, guys. I don't want to I don't want to create another game so soon. But with that said, though, like this past 2 weeks, we've just been kind of bullshitting about, oh yeah, we're doing the MCU tier list, and then last week or the show before, we were just me, you, and Richard. We were just talking about our experiences in the theme park industry and just shooting the shit, right? And that's a lot of fun. Hey, Gentleman Heavy, hello, Gentleman Heavy. We were just looking at your miniatures. We were just saying how amazing you are and how uh you know painfully meticulous you need to be in order to do that and to have a lot of passion. So amazing job. We're very, very what is it? Edified by your amazing work. So thank you so much for being here. Gentleman Heavy says more games. Cookie says group games. You know what? I okay. So remember when we talked about we said Among Us? Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
there's another game that is just like Among Us but free. It's called Duck Duck Goose. Have you heard of it? I've seen people play it.
Is it Goose Goose Duck? Because
Oh, or
Duck
is it?
Duck Goose
Oh,
is
I'm sorry.
that's
It
the
might be.
childhood game.
It might be Goose Goose Duck. I'm sorry. Yeah. We could
That's okay.
Yeah,
Easy
we could.
mistake to make.
Yeah, yeah. We could take a look at that because that seems like a kind of fun game we could all play together as
Sure.
the thing. Cookie says Among Us is free. No, Among Us it is not free. The free version, the free like game that's similar to Among Us is called, what is it? Goose Goose Duck?
Yeah, yep, that certainly returned a result on Steam. I think that's probably the one we're talking about. A
Ah
game
ah
of
ah.
social deduction where you and your fellow geese must work together to complete your mission. Keep an eye out for those malicious mallards and other birds who have infiltrated your team and will do anything to stop you.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so
It looks
so
fun.
we yeah, we could take a look at playing games like that, right? Do, 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 do. Cookie says it's free on my phone. Ooh, interesting.
Oh wow.
I
Wait,
uh
Among Us?
really.
Did it
Captain Blue
go free to
says
play?
I don't think so because I had to buy it. I had to buy it. Cookie says yeah, it's free on mobile.
Oh,
Mm,
neato.
yeah. Captain Blue says, I challenge you all on the fields of Age of Empires. Oh God. I would not last long. I know.
We'd get dominated, I'm sure.
Don't try to play Age of Empires. You're like a pro at that game, man. We're gonna get like our asses kicked by you, man. Captain Blue says free phone version of Among Us is free. Well, there you go. Heavy says I got one more model that is fresh off the palette. If y'all want to see it too, save it for next week. Post it and we will take a look at it next week. All right, Heavy, because I don't want to rush it. It's already 9:17 ish, and to be honest, I'm getting a little bit hungry. And I want to go eat some food. Yeah. But with that said, yes, Michael and I were going to take a look at a few games and see what we can play on stream with you guys. Because yeah, I think playing games would be a lot of fun, Michael. Whereas everyone can,
Sure, yeah, I'm down.
play together. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Cookie, Gentleman Heavy, Captain Blue Blue, and Lightos. I don't know if you're still here. Uh, Totoro, and Totoro is sleeping right now. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, Totoro. Anyone else? Anyone else? I think that's it. I think that's it. So yes, you guys are the VIPs in this chat. So I love you guys all. You guys are awesome and amazing. And we will raid Really Star tonight. She's doing some anime drawings, and let's go check
Ooh.
her out. So you guys take care of yourself, and we'll see you guys. Oh wait, shoot. Well, the people in this chat, they kind of know us already, so you guys know where to find us, right? Lee Design Studio, Michael. Here you could find him here. Michael has a blockbuster blueprint book. Go and check it out if you want to write an amazing story. Have a good blueprint slash template to learn how to write an epic tale. Um, obviously, Michael, you could do a better job explaining. I'm just trying to.
You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm doing awesome. Okay, cool. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so yeah, I don't need to put the links for you. You guys know where to find me. You guys know where to find me, and Michael too. All right, guys, cool. Please take care of yourself. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Yeah. Okay.
So
Bye.
long.
Take care. See ya.